friends. Welcome to Music City Kids. My name is Tamara with Love in a Big World, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. We want to help you grow strong in mind, body, and heart. Today we'll be exploring how we can work through arguments with our friends. It's bound to happen, but how do we work through those difficulties? Well, we're going to give you some tips. To get us started on our show today, we've got Dr. JPop with some fitness. So get up and get moving.
Hey guys, I want to share with you one of my favorite exercises that gets your body moving. It gets an amazing stretch, and if you do it multiple times in a row, it can get you sweating too. It's called the inchworm, okay? So you're gonna start with your hands all the way up in the air, and then you're gonna put them down on the ground, and you're gonna walk your hands all the way out until your whole back is flat, and then you're gonna walk your feet up just like an inchworm, and then you stand up, okay? Now, if it's too hard to walk your feet up, remember we talked about modifications last week? Let me show you another way you can do it. You can take your hands, you can put them down on the ground, you can walk them out until you feel comfortable, then you can push your hands right back until you're standing, okay? So that would be a modification of the inchworm. And if you can't stand on your feet, you can try this sitting in a chair. Hold, please. You can put your hands all the way up in the air, okay? You can walk your hands down as far as possible and then go back up, all right? You'll still get a good stretch. You'll still get a good workout, okay? Enjoy the inchworm.
Can't move on if it holds you. This bondage, like living in chains, wrapping yourself in its shame, carrying weight, gripping your heart. It won't let you feel what is real. There is power that exists, strong like force, yet bestowed like love. You can't hold it in hand, but you can give it. It costs only a bit of trust. Letting go of hurt is a must. Freeing yourself of past wrongs. Acknowledging what has been done. Releasing yourself from its hold. Chains falling. Getting free. Leaving what was, accepting what could be. Forgiveness.
Hello, Music City kids. I've got a question for you. What can you create? I want you to remember that the world is in desperate need of your genius. And I want to introduce you to some fabulous young inventors who decided it was their responsibility to create things that could help their community. First, let's meet William Kamkwamba. He's a Malawian teenager who taught himself how to build a windmill out of junk and bring power to his village. He then went on to build a second, larger windmill, and he actually was able to power irrigation pumps. And he did all of this from books that he read in the library. Next, let's meet Shubham Banerjee, who created a braille printer out of a Minecraft Lego set, a thumbtack, and a few circuits, all because he had some visually impaired people in his family and braille printers were too expensive. Then there's Richard Terreri, who came up with this idea of lion lights. Lions were coming down out of the preserve and eating the cattle in all the farms in his village. He would be sent to patrol and try to keep the lions away. One night with a flashlight, he realizes lions do not like moving light. They think it's a larger predator. So, with the old parts of a lawnmower and a few LED lights, he created some flashing lion lights and created a system that kept all of the cattle safe and all of the lions far away. And then there's Elif Belgian, who came up with an idea, and she's not monkeying around, to create a biofuel out of banana peels. And then there are these kids who felt it was their responsibility to take care of other kids. Campbell Remus is from Australia, and he makes a teddy bear a day. That's right, he sews one teddy bear a day for any kid that is in the children's hospital in Australia. And there's our local Music City kid right here in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Olivia Wright, who when she was only 12 years old, started a charity called Hugs, Help Us Give Shoes. She has collected over 200,000 pairs of shoes and given them away all around the globe. What do you think your responsibility is? What can you create? Go and pursue that. And that's the view from Janet's Planet.
Sometimes when people do things to hurt our feelings, we try to ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. And it doesn't really work so well, because when we don't talk about the things that went on in a relationship, it can build a wall. And it can keep us from connecting heart to heart with people. So what we've got to do instead is talk about what happened. Talk about why our heart got hurt. Not in an accusing way, but more in an informative way. Something like this. When you said or did, then you fill in the blank. When you said that I looked ugly today, or when you left me out of that game, or when you didn't talk to me for a week, then it made me feel. It made me feel sad that you said I looked ugly, or it made me feel left out that you didn't invite me to play the game, or it made me feel lonely that you didn't contact me for a week. And then just let it sit and give the opportunity for the other person to respond. So instead of attacking that other person and telling them that they're bad or did something awful, you're just saying, this is what happened or what was said, and this is how it made me feel. And that's a way to start working through conflict. But the key to communicating well is staying calm. So remember, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. If you're talking with an attitude and rolling your eyes, do you think it's going to be very well received? No. Or if you're shouting, do you think the other person's really going to hear you? Probably not. But in a calm, neutral voice, you can say, when you did or said this, it made me feel like this. And that's a way that you can build a bridge and start resolving conflict. Now, here with some more tips for us today is Micah with By Kids, For Kids.
Hi, my name is Micah Poe, and the symbol of forgiveness is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, and sadly died December 5, 2013. Mandela is an activist and a civil rights hero. In 1944, he joined the African National Congress. They were a political group that strived for equal rights. After he was in prison for 27 years, he helped the people of the ANC end the apartheid, which further divided race. They did this in a secret group. After all of this, Mandela won the Nobel Peace Prize and became the first black president of South Africa. Then in 1999, Nelson retired from being president, but stayed a symbol of peace, equality, and forgiveness. He is a symbol of forgiveness because when released from prison, instead of seeking revenge and hatred from being tortured, he asked for forgiveness and reconciliation. People felt betrayed from this but changed because of his exemplary response. Forgiveness is the action or process of forgiving or to be forgiven. And I drew a picture of Nelson Mandela, and I wrote some quotes of people who forgave people. And this is it. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Gandhi. Forgiveness liberates the soul and removes fear. That's why it's so powerful. Mandela. Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it'll kill your enemies. Nelson Mandela. Only free men can negotiate. Prisoners cannot enter their contracts. Mandela. And it is in our hands to make a better world for all the people who live in it. Mandela. Bye.
I'm the girl in the corner, all alone in this room, like a scene from a movie. You turn my world blue. I was told I was ugly, a loser too. You did this to me, what'd I do to you? You cut me out, I sewed my heart back up again. The corner girl I was. The corner girl I was. I'm out now, you won't get me down, 'cause the corner girl I was. I screamed I'm not weak, I need to be free. What did you know about me? Now you're gone, my love is strong. I can't stand on my own. The corner girl I was. The corner girl I was. I'm out now, you won't get me down, 'cause the corner girl, the corner girl I was. The corner girl I was. I'm out now, you won't get me down, 'cause the corner girl I was. The corner girl I was. The corner girl I was.
Your book suggestion for this week is Under the Lemon Moon by Edith Hope Fine. Read this story of Rosalinda and her lemon tree. When her lemon tree was broken, it broke her heart too, and she had to learn how to forgive the nightman. Do you know that forgiveness is a choice? We have the opportunity and power to choose to forgive or to hold a grudge? What do you do to help you work through your anger or hard feelings in order to forgive others? Think about that as you read this story. Next up is Dr. E with a special message about friendship.
Hey friends, I'm sitting here thinking about this idea of friendship and what friendship is all about. And I can remember when I was growing up, I was oftentimes concerned that when I went to a new school or when I changed and went to a different grade, that nobody would like me and it would be hard for me to be able to have friends. But I remember my parents would always tell me something that even continues to stick with me today. And what they would tell me was that in order to have friends, you have to be a friend. And so if you want to have great friends, you have to learn how to be a great friend as well. And so how can you be a great friend? Well, I think there are lots of ways of being a great friend. One of the most important is by listening to people and learning about the things that they find important, the things that are interesting to them. And so when you take interest in other people, that's a great way of being a friend to someone else. And when you take interest in people and you show people that you care and you're willing to listen to them, then what that builds is trust. That people know that you are loyal, that you are trustworthy, and that you genuinely care about them. And when people know that you genuinely care about them, guess what happens? People oftentimes show you the same kind of genuine care and concern in return. And so if you want to be friends, in order to have great friends, then we have to learn how to be great friends. And some of the best ways to learn how to be great friends is to be able to share love in a big world. And so until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.
Hey, Music City kids, Dr. Don here with my friend Chuck, and I have a very serious health topic for you today. Because the summertime's coming and the temperatures are starting to rise, I talk about being out in the sun and skin damage and putting on your UVA, UVB sunscreen, protecting your eyes with protective eyewear too, but there's something that you really do need to be aware of. And like I said, this is serious. There's something called heat exhaustion. And this is, people get this all the time, and it is a heat-related illness that happens when you've been in high temperatures for too long. Now, what happens is your body will naturally sweat to help your body cool down. But when the environment gets humid and there's too much moisture in the air, it doesn't allow that sweat to evaporate to actually cool off your body. And that can be very serious, and your body temperature just rises and rises and rises. So it's something to be very aware of that can happen during these hotter months. And this is starting to happen now. So one of the things that you need to be sure of is that you're getting plenty of fluids and plenty of electrolytes. There are sports drinks that do have electrolytes. I don't like the ones that have a lot of sugar in them, and sometimes the artificial sugars are bad too. So but making sure that you got some electrolytes getting in your body is very important. Some of the signs of the heat exhaustion are confusion, fatigue, headaches, pale skin. Fainting is a very serious symptom that needs to be evaluated or be watched out for. There is something that you can see also. If you notice that your urine is a little bit of a darker color, it might mean that you're a little dehydrated, might need a little more water. But what are some of the things that you can do for this if you start feeling some of these symptoms? Get out of the heat. Get into a cool environment. Drink plenty of water. Remove unnecessary clothing to help your skin cool off. You can take a cold shower. Just put a cold cloth on your neck. It's just different things to help cool you down, because this can get worse, and there's something called heat stroke, and that can be very, very, very serious, and they can lead to each other. So we don't want that to happen. So I really just want to make sure that you guys are aware that there is something bad that can happen from being out in the heat too long. And there's nothing to be scared of. You just want to make sure that you are taking precautions. Just don't be out in the heat too long. If it's very humid outside and the temperatures are high, just make sure that you are being careful and staying cool and protecting. So that's my health tip for the day. Back to you, Tamara.
Hi, I'm Margaret Brown, and I'm going to be teaching you how to create mandalas. Mandalas are a great way to relieve stress and anxiety due to their repetitive nature. So please remember, there's no wrong way of doing it, and I hope you enjoy. The first thing you're going to do is find found objects around the house. Use a pencil to outline them. This is going to give you a nice guideline to work from with your mandala. So I use one hand to hold it down and then use the other to trace. And with mandalas, what you do is you start in the middle. So I'm going to do a little dot in the middle, and then I'm going to create some geometric shapes. So geometric shapes are anything like a triangle, rectangle, in the middle. You can use geometric or organic. So organic would be anything like flowers like this, leaves, anything in nature. And as you create your design, you want to focus more on the process and not the product. So as you work, try to be really flexible with what you're asking. Like, I wonder if I do this, what would it look like, and so on and so forth. So then I would continue my process all the way to the end. So once I'm done with the pencil, then I can come on top with Sharpie, and if there's any corrections I want to make, I can do it then. And you always want to twist the paper towards you so you can see what you're doing. And then once I outline the whole entire mandala, then I can come with a eraser and erase all my pencil marks. So all you need is a piece of copy paper, pencil, and a marker, and you can create a mandala. And the beautiful part about it is it can look completely different every single time you do it, especially if you do it several days in a row. And then, so that's that. Let me go ahead and show you what the final one would look like. So here's a good example of a final one. And what I did is I just colored in, thinking about positive and negative space, so leaving lots of white and black, various sizes, and then outlining it in Sharpie and then erasing it. I hope you enjoyed learning about mandalas today, and back to you, Tamara.
Hi friends, Riki Ratner here with Be Well in School, coming back with a new pose to add into our sequence. So remember, we're learning some poses to build into a sequence, ultimately, a yoga flow. So today we're going to add on to our mountain pose by learning Warrior One. And this is a really great pose for developing focus and balance and stability while also energizing the body. And so this stretches the hips, it stretches the chest, and it allows us to breathe really deep. It also helps us build strength in the back and the arms and the legs. So let's dive in and let's learn Warrior One. You just need your body and your breath. So you could come outside. I'm barefoot right now on the grass, and it feels awesome connecting with the earth. I also have my mat back there. You could use a towel, a blanket, whatever you got is great. Let's dive in. So starting in your mountain pose at the top of your mat this time, we're gonna find those feet hips width distance, reach down through your fingers, soften your knees, and then we take that right foot. We're gonna do our right side together and then go back on your own, and you're gonna do that left side the same way. So we're gonna take that right foot, we're gonna take a big step back. When we take that step back, the right toes point out about 45 degrees, and I really am pressing down through the blade edge of my foot. And the blade edge is that pinky toe all the way down the side towards the heel.
and I'm pressing, but then I draw this right hip forwards. And I bend deep in my left knee, my left toes point forward, and my feet are like still that hips width distance, because I don't want to be on a tightrope. That'll hurt my hips. It's not going to be good for my body. It's not going to feel good. You want that hips width distance, the space for your feet, space for your hips. Then we reach the arms up. Bend deep in that front knee, press through the blade edge of the back foot, take a deep breath and reach the arms up. Fill the belly up, exhale, draw the belly button into the spine. And then here you can say an empowering statement, like in Peter Reynolds' book, I Am Yoga. Here in Warrior One, he says, I can stand up for me. So you could say something like that here, or you could just say it in your mind, or you could say it out loud. Or maybe you want to say something like, I believe in me. It's totally up to you. That's your affirmation. But whatever you need to tell yourself here to feel strong and really capable of anything you set your mind to, tell yourself. Take one more deep breath in, reach the arms up. And then on the exhale, we're going to step forward, reach the arms by our sides, and find that mountain pose. Awesome job. That's Warrior One. Do the left side on your own and have a wonderful day.
Friends, in order for us to work through conflict with our friends, we have to have a heart of forgiveness. That means that we have to be willing to work through the difficulty and make things right. Forgiveness is putting another's wrongs behind and letting go of anger over a wrong. Forgiveness doesn't mean that we pretend that nothing happened. Forgiveness means that we're honest about what went wrong and how it made us feel, and that we're also open to getting things right between us for the sake of the relationship. It takes work. Real relationships take work, time, and effort, and also require an open heart and an open mind. It means that once we open up the conversation to say, hey, this is what happened and this is how it made me feel, that we also listen to the other person's point of view. And we listen to what happened on their end and how it made them feel. And that we're willing to own our part in the problem too, because it takes two people to cause a conflict. And once we do that, we can walk through the steps of forgiveness. And these are some steps that I learned when I was a child. First, we say, I am sorry for, and then fill in the blank. What is it that you're sorry for? It's not just enough to go, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean it, or whatever. No, we have to own it. Take responsibility. I am sorry for hurting your feelings by saying that you were ugly. Or I'm sorry for making you feel sad by leaving you out of the game. Or I am sorry for not being in touch with you for such a long time and making you feel lonely. Own it. And then say, I was wrong. Because when you hurt somebody else, friends, it is wrong. It's our job to love, not hurt. And then ask for forgiveness. Will you forgive me? That's humility. Not thinking too much or too little of yourself, but being responsible, owning what you do and say, so that you can make it right. And then wait for that person to say, I forgive you. Those are 3 very powerful words. It's not okay to get by with just a shrug. Or a whatever, or it's all right. It's not okay. You hurt your friend. You need to hear them say, I forgive you. And those words bring release to your heart and to theirs. There's freedom in forgiveness. You know, I was talking to my son last week, and he was saying that he was very angry about something, and he was holding a grudge. And I said, you know, you think you might be hurting the other person by holding that grudge, but really the person you're hurting is yourself. When you ask forgiveness and give forgiveness, you are creating freedom for yourself and for your relationship. Think about that, friends. And if you've got more questions about working through conflict with your friends, email us, Tamara@loveinaBigWorld.org. We'll be happy to respond. We love hearing from you. Remember, you are not alone. We're here for you. And we'll see you next time on Music City Kids. Bye-bye.